Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Mooncast. Jack's back with me,
Hello.
sitting on the sofa, and we're going to discuss gnomes today, which will be fun. So we've done a fairy one already, time to do some gnomes. And we've got the cards in front of us this time, which is always good. Unlike where we did the faction overview, we didn't have any of the cards or the book.
Oh, I think they're melee 3.
I think, yeah, I think that ability, I think it's that one's got that ability, but we've actually got the cards in front of us. So we're going to go through the gnomes individually, what we like about them and things, and have a bit of a general chat. And we're also going to talk about the four new gnomes as well. I apologise for any mild coughing in the middle. I'll try and cut that as much as I can, but
It's not just me, Stan.
Yeah, both of us are coughing, so I apologise in advance. I think it'd be nice to start with just a general talk of gnomes. You've played them a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much since we got the second wave and the Kickstarter, you played almost entirely.
Because I played humans before, pretty much just humans. I think.
Yeah, because I played mainly goblin. We did swap a little bit, but yeah. And then since we got the second wave of the Kickstarter, I played almost entirely fairies, and you played.
Yeah, because I decided I really like the models anyway, and I think it would just seem natural, like you weren't going to get them, or like I could get them, and they could be the faction that I'd get. Obviously now I'm going to get more factions, but I think I consider them to be my first real faction I used quite a lot. And they are very different. Having used a couple of other factions since, they're very different in play style and feel, which is really interestingly done, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're like a big happy family, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that shows in their gameplay, doesn't it? They need, most of them like to be close together.
Yep.
Which is very different. If you've got a tight moonstone spread, a close moonstone spread, and you're playing gnomes, you're probably screwed. Because
against gnomes.
Against gnomes, and you've got a close moonstone spread in the middle of the board, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You need to try and grab them and leg it as quickly as you can.
Whereas
if you've got a wide spread of moonstones, then gnomes can suffer a bit more.
A bit against that.
You've got some models that are happy to wander off.
So I see that they've got a core of 2, possibly 3 models that kind of contribute to this theme of wanting to stay close together, which is Mama Gimbal.
Yeah.
Because she has an aura of 4 inches, and everyone within that aura gains +1 melee and +1 arcane stat, all other gnomes. That really helps them. So you want gnomes to be within her aura. Yeah. And Graddock has an aura which helps with the card mechanic bluffing.
Yep.
So you kind of find you don't want people to venture too far away from them, and Mama Gimbal's slow. So that
with both of those though, so Mama Gimbal's is +1 melee plus arcane. Particularly with Graddock as well. If they haven't got an arcane ability, it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah.
I think
Morris Sinkhole.
Yeah, Sinkhole, but he's not bothered about it.
It's not the be-all end-all to give him +1 arcane, but just a nice little bonus for him.
Yeah, Quarrel, you particularly want him near Mama Gimbal, because whereas I think Morris's ability is not affected by evade, is it?
It's not.
And neither is Graddock's.
Yeah.
So if Morris is doing it, it's not that big a deal. He's still got arcane 3, so he's basically normally using 3. Whereas Quarrel, he suffers normally from evade and
he has such a high potential for damage as well. If you can get him +1 arcane,
so he's definitely one worth having nearby. Yeah. He's also a good one for getting the additional energy that she can give once per game, can't she? With Mother's Wrath, whatever you want to call it.
Mother's Wrath, that's a 3-inch pulse, which you will use every game. You use Mama Gimbal in, which you probably want her. I think she's the only.
If you're taking a singularly gnome list, you kind of have to take her because she's the only healer you've got.
And that gives her +1 energy and a pulse. And Quarrel's the third one, I'd say, that kind of. If you're taking him, you wouldn't always take him, but he has Brothers in Arms, which is a 4-inch buff he can give out, and he's slow as well. So he's another one that you can't go too far anyway.
Yeah.
So those 3, I think, are sort of the slow core. Granted, it's not slow, but he
He hasn't got much energy,
He only has 2 energy.
so he can't move a lot anyway. He can't do any much additional movement. So one thing that's also interesting about gnomes is all their energy, for most of them, is right at the bottom of their health card.
I love that so much.
You have to almost kill them for them to suffer any negative effects to their energy.
I think all of
which is
them,
really interesting.
or nearly all of them, can take pretty much half
Wounds,
damage without losing any energy.
Yeah.
That's such a shock using other other teams,
other troops after that,
and finding that I've taken a wound and I've lost an energy. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. But then they also don't have a lot. They only have 3, which isn't none. But
some only have 2. Quite a lot.
Two.
Couple.
It's not too bad, but it's not like goblins generally have 4.
Yeah.
Fairies have 5 or 6. So although fairies do lose it, they still have plenty.
Yeah.
So which is just part of the mechanic of each troop, isn't it? I've used gnomes once, and I didn't use them very well. When I played you against fairies, but that's okay. That's the first time I'd used them. I didn't really know what I was doing with them. I think they're fun. I am probably going to buy them myself quite soon, mainly because I'm quite interested in expanding outside of using just individual races in troops. We've almost entirely used just single race troops. Certainly with the next lot of models coming in Book 2 and with the Les Revolt Kickstarter coming, I think that I'm almost certain that single race troops will be a thing of the past. With the possible exception of fairies. Mainly because there's not that many new fairies coming, and there's not a lot of Dominion coming that I think necessarily work.
It'd be something you could continue to do just for thematic purposes.
Oh yeah, you could do it for fluff matches.
Yeah, you probably want to mix in.
Which we'll talk about a bit later. But I do. Yeah, I mean, me and Tom have talked about it before, and he said it several times that he's well aware that the first 4 troops that came out very much are race based, and that's got a lot of the abilities are race based. It's like friendly gnomes gain this, friendly humans gain this. Some of them are friendly soldier, some of them are friendly cleric and things like that, but generally speaking it's race. Whereas in the new models coming out, again, both in Book 2 and in the Les Revolt, it's things like friendly cultist or friendly pirate, or friendly rogue, so more like class almost. Class? I don't know if that's the right word. Character class.
Yeah, I'd say character class actually. Yeah.
Rather than race. There's a lot of like friendly rogue, friendly pirate, friendly wizard, that kind of thing, which is interesting change. So I think certainly by the end of the year we'll see a lot more mixed troops being played, which will be good because I think it gives me a lot of choice, which is really nice. Yeah. So should we look at individuals? I think we'll start with
you've got to start with Mama Gimble.
Got to have Mama Gimble. Who's awesome. Yes. Highest arcane stat in the... Oh no, I think...
Shabroon's
7, she's 6.
Still very high.
Which basically just means she's incredibly good at healing.
Yep.
Which I really like. When you look at it, it's like, why is she arcane 6? And you've got to remember that arcane does not mean wizard. It means that they're good at something that they need. So she's very good at healing, which kind of makes sense. Yeah. So she's slow, like you said. I mean, she's not exactly... She's going to die in melee if she's not got other gnomes around her. Because she's got...
Yeah, she has My Boys, which is reduce all damage suffered by -1 for each friendly gnome within 3 inches of this model. And you'll notice there's no maximum to that.
Yeah, there's no restriction, unlike Joanna's restriction.
Yeah, you could be -4 or potentially 5 damage.
Which basically means if she has got 5 gnomes around her within that space, you probably wouldn't attack her. You'd attack one of them instead. Yeah.
And then that kind of... She could potentially go in, and she's not designed for combat with melee of 2, but she can go in with impunity if needs be, knowing -5 damage is probably going to be fine.
Yes. Unless she's facing someone like Fritz.
Then she's
already +3.
Because she does only have 6 health. Gnomes do have a fair bit of health, but she doesn't.
She only has 6,
which is like fairy level of health.
It is fairy level health, yeah.
But then
she's tougher to kill as long as she's near other people,
You shouldn't be taking as much damage with her.
So... Yeah, she's slow still. She's got a boy's lucky charm, so that's the +1 melee, +1 arcane stat. It is other friendly gnomes.
Yeah, doesn't affect her.
And reduce magical damage by -1, but again, that's other friendly. So she still suffers magical damage as normal.
Yep.
But otherwise,
but she reduces all damage by -1 from my boys. So that helps her against magical damage. As well.
Yes, yeah.
Which is nice.
Mother's Love's quite good. It's like a secondary healing option, isn't it?
Yep.
Which is interesting because most healers only have one heal spell. She has another one,
so it's
and it only costs 1. So
costs 1. It's automatic, so you don't have to draw any cards or rely on anything. Just heals 2, and it's quite useful for sometimes you need a bit of extra movement. If she's ahead of another gnome, needs to get them up the board a bit further. She can sometimes use that, and it can pull her back if she's in trouble because she moves 2 inches towards them, or even. It's just nice to have an extra 2 inches of movement with her. And
it's also good. You might also want to be pulling someone out of combat as well. And also, if they're 10 inches away, she can't move any further. She can pull them 2 inches and then cast healing as well.
Yeah.
So she can get both. And then Mother's Wrath, we talked about. That's the one where they all gain 1 energy. Other friendly gnomes gain 1 energy. Yeah.
And enemy models within the pulse for 2 wounds.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't think we don't get that. That doesn't happen very often because usually you're not that close to her before.
Usually, when I have taken Quarrel, I've tried to get Mother's Wrath off early.
Yeah.
So that Quarrel can shoot twice early-ish in the game.
Yeah, you also did it when in our last game against Gnomes where I used Less Revolt and you managed to hit both him and Gnome Shit. They could both fire twice.
Yeah, and did that in the first turn, I think.
Which is basically what murdered most of my troop, which is pretty good.
Yeah. And you just want... Part of the reason you want to do it early, usually, is although gnomes like to stay close together, you don't know if you're going to be within 3 inches of everyone in later turns. You might have to go off and get moonstones and whatnot. So you're guaranteed to get as many people as you can early on. So, I've not really used it much at all, I think, to damage the enemy, but...
Yeah,
it could be.
But everyone getting 1 energy is really good, even if it's just that.
Yeah, because unlike the goblin gas effects, where they goblins themselves take the damage.
Yeah,
this is just enemy models, obviously.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's quite nice.
And then the last one is just healing, which is like a lot of healing spells, just X+1 wounds, which is very basic. So she's at the moment, like we said, at the moment, if you're taking a pure gnome list, she's definitely one that you can't not include. She's not to include really, if nothing else, because she's a healer.
Yeah,
and in fact she has 2 healing options. It is really good. She can quite relatively simply, as long as she hasn't suffered too many wounds, heal up someone almost full if they've suffered a fair bit of wounds. So
she's also a good moonstone carrier because she's slow.
Yes, she is.
So she's not.
So if there's a moonstone that's been dropped further back somewhere, like turn 1, if you can get her up to it and pick it up.
Yeah,
that's really useful, like you said, because she's already slow, so she's not being slowed down.
Against other troops that don't have loads of ranged options, I usually find in the first turn, I'm either sometimes move her 5 with her jog and 3 energy to get to a moonstone and then dig it up as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And then I've got her freed up for healing later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Signature move.
It's the swapping places one. It's the same that... Eric's got the same one, I think.
Yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, swap place. So it's a good thing for getting her out because, like you said, she's not. If she's not near other gnomes, you might want to get her out of there.
And you're usually going to be able to use it because she's going to have other gnomes around.
Yeah, because you're not going to leave her isolated.
No.
Yeah, definitely a good solid include. Next one's one of my favourite gnomes actually. One because the model I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
And I like the image of him, which is Braddock, sort of old, seasoned, wise gnome, giving out literally sage advice. He's a bit better than Mary. He's Mary 4.
Yeah, he's not. It's not too bad.
Reduces slicing and pierce. No, just slicing by -1, which is an interesting one. To only slicing by -1. It's good if someone's got additions to slicing or if they played a sweeping cut. But apart from that, they're just
a little bonus, isn't it?
It's a tiny bonus, yeah. Tough as old boots is always good, though. Recovers 2 wounds at the beginning of replenish steps. So if he has suffered a little bit, he can get it back again.
Free heal straight away there.
But really,
you take him for these 2 things. Well,
these 3 and that one.
And forgetfulness,
which is amazing.
But he's
Smell a Lie is particularly amazing.
His 2 passive abilities, Smell a Lie, is and Smell a Lie and Sage Advice are both amazing.
Yeah.
So Smell a Lie, enemy models targeting this model, or a model within 2 inches.
Must reveal the arcane card that's being played. So basically means it's impossible to bluff if you're hitting him with something.
Yes.
I mean, obviously it means you know that, so you wouldn't try. Similar kind of thing with like Tito's ability, Arcane Reflection. You just wouldn't try it.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to work like that.
But with a lot of these abilities, you do find, for example, if you're playing under time restriction, things like this become much more powerful because it's forcing people to spend more time thinking about it, and you might not even remember it.
Yeah.
Or you might just be so rushed.
Yeah.
You haven't necessarily got all the time in the world to decide how best to play around in.
Yeah, definitely.
So things like that become quite useful. And Sage Advice is probably my favourite thing about him, I think.
Oh, yeah.
If another friendly model within 4 inches, so it doesn't affect him, is caught bluffing, the revealed card is used. The opponent cannot replace it with their own arcane card.
Just the thing with that is, obviously it's really good with like Quarrel or the other big range spells or range abilities that gnomes can use. But what's interesting about it, it's another friendly model, not another friendly gnome.
Not gnome.
So he's actually the same with Sage Advice, I think. Or Smell a Lie.
Model.
Or a model.
Yeah, not
interestingly, it's a model. It doesn't say friendly model.
Enemy models targeting this model.
Oh, enemy models. Okay, cool. Yeah, I missed that bit. But basically, he's really good in a human list.
Yeah.
And he'd be good with certain new fawns and things as well. But he would be good in a human. He'd be good standing next to Flintlock, for example.
Yeah, because he's sort of one of these models. You just think he gives the gnomes a lot of their strength, this ability to just play, to say whatever they want.
Yeah,
without.
But actually, he plays well.
Bluffs.
But I think he's useful in just about any.
But
Commonwealth.
he could do that to any Commonwealth. Yeah. That's really useful.
And then next ability, which is clearly the most hilarious ability.
Oh, it's great.
Is Forgetfulness.
Yeah.
It's been used and abused in the funniest ways, isn't it? So do you want to read it out and then?
So Forgetfulness, it costs 1, and it's just done
8-inch range.
Forgetting what the term is for something where you don't need a card. A special word. Just an ability, active ability.
Active ability, I think. Nah, that's passive ability. Yeah, active ability.
Yeah,
we'll go for that. I can't remember what it's called.
So it's 8-inch range. He's not slow, so he can do something within 12 inches. Remove 1 arcane or active ability from the target character until the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Costs 1. He's got 2 energy standard, so he could potentially do it twice, which is huge.
Yeah,
really huge.
Really good if you want to stop. People like Flintlock. Fairies is good if you want to stop that. If you can get in range of their healer, stop their healer from casting heal.
And if they've got 2 healers, stop them both.
Stop them both, yeah.
If they've got Graddock, stop them casting Forgetfulness.
The best one, yeah. That was amazing. I'm so glad I observed that when he did it in that first tournament where, I'll explain that a second. So in the last game of the tournament, Jack was using gnomes, was playing another person using gnomes. And what did you do first? You cast Forgetfulness on Mama Gimbal to make her forget healing.
Yeah.
And then you were scared that they were going to do the same to you.
Yeah.
So you then cast Forgetfulness on his Graddock, making him forget Forgetfulness.
That's it.
Which is just amazing. That's brilliant. And then my favourite time it's been used, and I'm afraid to say it's not you using it, is when I was using fairies and I had Silver Tongue, and I wasn't in range of Quarrel to make him fire his. I was originally trying to get in range of Quarrel to make him fire his crossbows from one of your own people. I couldn't get into range. So instead, but I wasn't ready to Graddock. Yeah. So I cast Mind Control on Graddock, and he then cast Forgetfulness on Quarrel, making him forget how to use his crossbow. So basically made him fairly useless for the rest of the turn.
So you didn't get to fire it, but it achieved one of the intended effects, which is basically you couldn't fire it again.
Yeah. So it was quite fun. But yeah, no, it is really, really, really good.
Now, snare traps is... we're getting to another theme of gnomes here, which is very long-ranged.
Yes, which we didn't actually mention at the beginning, but yeah, a lot of their
arcanes... that's a major theme, which I don't think any other troop has.
They don't know. They have the longest range. I mean, Flintlock's rifle is, I think, 14 inches. That's individual for him, but gnomes in particular have all long ranges. Not necessarily particularly high damage, but long range.
It's saying something that Forgetfulness at 8 inches has the feel in gnomes of like, oh, it's so short range. Because their other things are, well, for example, snare traps, 14 inches.
Yep.
Which is really, I think most of the things are 12 at most.
Well, also, what's particularly good is it's not affected by evade or cover. So really good against fairies.
Yep.
He's really good against fairies.
Not affected by evade
because you have to play the cards. for example, against him, which is really good. And then he's got these long range abilities that can do damage. So if you can activate him near the end of the turn, for example, then he can do snare traps on a fairy, which usually means they're then going to start a turn with less energy.
Yes.
And also against goblins, against something like Shabaroon, it's quite useful. If you can injure Shabaroon near the end of the turn, he comes back with less energy, which is really good. Mm-hmm. So he's one actually that, well, he's either a beginning of the turn activation or end of the turn activation. He's either beginning to make someone forget something or the end to do snare traps.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to get forgetfulness off early. So
well, yeah, but you can only ever do one or the other anyway.
Unless Mama Gimble
was activated, yeah.
But if she gives him an energy, you'd be tempted to try and do 3 forgetfulness. Yeah, that's
if he can get in
completely
range,
cripple an enemy team by making them forget 3 of their abilities.
But then I think if I've got 3 of my abilities, I'll just be going after Moonstones instead.
Yeah.
But he's a great one. He's one I think again.
He's arcane ability. Look, because the
arcane are active.
Arcane is cards. Active is one that you cost energy and it's passive. Yeah, of course.
And then his signature is
it's
basically just a defensive thing.
It's not nothing to write home about. Really.
Not really, no. You can deal damage with it on high guard, so it is damaging on a defensive, which is quite good. And then he can move an inch.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's just 1 damage.
So although
it's not,
so I mean, he might just hit someone a little bit,
and he could potentially then get out of trouble. May move 1 inch, depending on what the position is.
But also with the new rules where he'll be able to do the end step effect even if he's not actually engaging them, he could then step out of a 2-inch melee. And then do a reaction step and be even further away. You could do that, and then a reaction step would work as well. So that's good.
8 health, standard for a gnome.
Only 2 energy, so he is hindered by that. But then he's going to get those 2 energy until he's dead, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because he's down to 1 health. He's probably about to die anyway.
Yeah.
Because then you want to finish him off. So, and certainly with getting 2 energy, 2 health back in the replenish step, even if he's down to 1, he'll get health back and then get energy, so it doesn't make a difference. So, cool. We'll move on to the next one then.
Cool.
Possibly one of the most underrated fairies. Gnomes,
definitely not
which is Morris.
No, you wouldn't like that at all.
No, he's definitely not a fairy.
Morris,
I think he's great, isn't he?
He's got the keyword minor as well. I don't think there's anyone else with that.
No, I wonder if that come up later. I don't know.
Interesting.
But his biggest thing I think his biggest thing.
Close enough.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay. His biggest thing is pick.
No,
not pick.
No,
minor.
You're thinking of minor, yeah.
Minor. You can dig up any depth moonstone for 1 energy.
Yeah.
So if you happen to get a drop where you got a couple of 4 moonstones near your deployment area, it's just brilliant. He walks up, digs up 1.
So he gets 2 energy, but he gets a lot of value from this. Well, he's got a 0 cost active ability for a start.
Yeah.
And then minor, you could potentially get 4 energy worth of value out of just 1 energy.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. They'd be able to dig up a moonstone that would normally cost 4 or even 3. It's still really good, especially as, like you said, as we said, gnomes haven't got loads of energy. They've only got like 3.
Yeah.
So if you do have some 4s out there, most other gnomes can't dig them up with 1 activation.
Yeah.
They need help. Now that he can, is really good.
Yep. Pig is also really good. So it makes him very scary melee.
Yeah.
He has a +2 to impact,
which works even particularly well as well with his signature, which is damage from his attack cannot be reduced by passive abilities.
That's it.
So if he's hitting like the Baron of a Fancy Hat or someone like Wasp,
so it means
Buckler doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if he gets a double off against Wasp, he's killed him.
Yeah,
if he gets because all that, unless Wasp plays his high guard, which gets you in trouble, but which you always would probably, to be honest. But yeah, it's very good against fairies particularly, but also good against like the midget as well, who's also -2 and he has 5 health. He's probably going to kill the midget in one go.
Yeah, it's just useful for getting around these things that are normally very tough to kill.
Yeah.
So he's a good moonstone getter.
Yeah.
Because he has to actually gain possession of the moonstone. He doesn't just reduce its value by whatever you want.
He gains it straight away. Yeah.
He's also
tough on boots, so he gets the energy back easily, which is good. So he's always going to start a turn with 2 energy.
Yeah.
And in Sinkhole, it's not quite as long range.
8-inch range.
8-inch, but X wound and gain slow. So it's quite good at slowing people down a little bit as well.
Yeah. The enemy model suffers X wounds against slow. That's good.
Yeah. So it's always good.
So he's same defensively as Graddock, pretty much. One less melee.
Doesn't Graddock has less damage against slicing, but apart from that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But they're both tough as old boots, both 8. No, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 8.
8 health and
both 2 energy at the bottom.
2 energy at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's definitely a good one for me, I reckon.
One thing to point out, so he's got the naught cost active ability he's got is shove. Once per turn, a target model within 1 inch moves 2 inches directly away. Now, I think we did put a report up where he used it on himself because it just says move target model, but we subsequently got that clarified that he shouldn't be able to shove himself, which makes sense.
Yeah, because he can't move directly away from himself.
Can you?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's fine.
But that's just to clarify, because I don't know if that's been put in a...
I don't know. I'm actually Tom about putting it in a FAQ, yeah.
So, yeah, it's something to bear in mind. Because that did actually, before we realised that, it kind of made him quite fast for a gnome as well.
Yeah, because he could just move an extra inch. It's only once per turn.
2 inches.
2 inches, move 2 inches.
So it means he could jog 6 effectively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
next up is Quarrel. I think Militia. So Quarrel's gnome soldier militia. That militia will come up more.
Yeah.
There's more militia abilities, quite a few with militia.
He's the first one in the gnomes so far that we've covered.
Got to use militia, yeah. So he's also slow. So again, quite a good moonstone carry if you need him to be.
Yeah.
Melee 3, range 1, arcane 3, so very standard. Does do additional damage in slicing, interestingly.
Yeah, he can be handy in a fight if he needs to be.
But really, his main two things are crossbow and brothers in arms, anyway.
Yep.
So he's 8 health, 3 energy at the bottom, same as other gnomes, so fairly standard.
Yeah, 1 more energy than the last 2, but I think 3 is pretty much standard for gnomes.
Yeah, and then his signature is basically he gets away, so it's tactical retreat. He just gets out of there really.
Reduced damage by 1 and moves 2 inches, which is nice.
Yeah,
it's more useful than Graddock's 1 inch.
Yeah, so he can get out of there if he needs to. But like I said, it's really about when the crossbow is
14 inches,
2x piercing damage, and then move to 1 inch directly away. So that's pretty horrible. 2x piercing damage is horrible.
2x piercing damage. Another 14-inch range one, which is mental.
Yeah. I mean, really, you want to make sure against Quarrel early on, you either got your -2 evades out in the open or they're behind cover.
Yeah.
The thing with the 14-inch range, it's very easy to get behind cover.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so far away, it's very easy to measure and find a point where your middle of your base is in the middle of his base, and therefore he's -2. I mean, against like fairies, yes, if he gets a hit off, it really hurts, but it's quite hard for him to get it because he's often only drawing one. Even with Mama Gimbal nearby, he's probably only drawing 1 card.
Yeah, we'll put him up to arcane 4, but then if a fairy's in cover, that'd be -3, right?
So he'd only be drawing 1 card. But he's very good against. Like hitting like a giant.
Oh yeah.
There's +2. Where he could easily do 6 damage.
So he can do a similar thing to Flintlock, where you can shoot him twice, basically, if you give him an extra energy.
Yeah.
Which with pure gnomes you can only do once per game with Mama Gimbal, but it does mean he can shoot twice that turn.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's other ways that in future he'll be able to get the extra energy from other characters. I know that, but we won't discuss that at the moment. But
if you want to shoot him twice, just bear in mind as well, make sure you're not shooting the first shot at the limit of his range, because that will then push the enemy 1 inch directly away. Even if you've already jogged, you can't then get in range to shoot them again. Yeah,
so you can't shoot again.
Yeah.
There's not much else to say about him, really.
Brothers
in Arms. Sorry, yeah, go on. You do want
to... Brothers in Arms cost 1. This is a great ability. Target other friendly militia. So it's not any gnome, but it's militia, it's not limited to gnomes either. Target other friendly militia gains +1 arcane, which is good. If they're under Mama Gimbals, or they're at +2 arcane now.
Yeah.
But it also gives them +2 melee stat till the end of the turn. Then the target may discard 1 energy to give this character +1 arcane stat and +2 melee till the end of the turn. You can.
That's a way to improve his arcane, actually.
Improves his arcane by +, so we can get up to arcane 5 that way.
But then he won't be able to do anything else.
He'll shoot twice.
But when he won't be able to do anything else after that, he'll have no energy left.
He could cast Brothers in Arms on someone. Oh yeah, then he couldn't.
He cast Brothers in Arms twice.
Oh, shoot crossbows once.
So he cast Brothers in Arms twice and then shoot crossbow, but then he's going to be a bit limited after that. So
yeah. So you can really buff up your warriors with.
Well, you did it with you did it with him really well when he couldn't shoot his crossbow at anyone or he hadn't reloaded and you wanted to do it. You cast it 3 times on young Jack.
Yeah, you can stack it on the same person.
Stack it on the same person. I think you did it 3 times on Jack. That was in the tournament actually. Maybe you did it against me. I can't remember.
It wasn't the tournament, but we were just a friendly game we played.
It was at the games table actually, wasn't it?
The games table, yeah.
And Jack ended up with 14 melee cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had so many melee cards I couldn't have my full complement. I think something like that. He had 14. I mean, not surprisingly, he slaughtered me really quickly.
He killed Boulder in 1 hit, I think.
Was it 1 hit? Or was it? I think it might have been 2 hits. But yeah, but basically he killed him very quickly. Yeah, so it can be good for piling on things like that. Quite hard to, that takes some setting up. But
even if you only do it once to someone, and if they're under Mama Gimble's aura, that's +3 melee as well, and plus 2 arcane. That turns the average stats of the gnomes into something terrifying, really. Yeah,
especially if you're using young Jack, it already has additional damage.
You just want to be careful you're not throwing all your energy away, buffing everyone up, and then you've got none left on anyone. Because
the one thing he hasn't got is any, apart from his signature, he hasn't really got any other defensive stuff. So he does drop quickly if you're not careful. Yeah. I remember it was the game we played, the Sleepyheads game, which you were very unlucky at because you never got anyone out there, and Fritz just murdered him in 1 go, I think.
Yeah, he's not very tough.
He has no defensive stuff at all apart from, like I say, his signature. So he does go down like anything if you don't want him to.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good pick into a lot of troops. Probably not so good into fairies, but then again, if he does hit them,
he does hit them. He can kill them in 1 go. Yeah, if you can get it off. But yeah, it's quite tricky.
What's great about Quarrel and any of the characters that can potentially do a lot of damage, if he's near Craddock, you just always can say you've got the green 3.
Yeah,
and it's just terrifying.
I think he'd probably always call bluff on that, especially he's probably only drawing 1 card.
Yeah, so then when you do get the green 3, and you've got another green 1, then it's
then it's horrible.
It's horrible. Okay, well, speaking of buffs, we're on to young Jack.
Yep. This card's based on Tom, you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, he's your main melee. Like I say again, we're talking sort of pure gnome list, but he's your main melee in the pure gnomes. And he's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at it.
Really good.
So he's melee 4, which doesn't seem that high, but it can be improved, like I said, by Quarrel quite easily. Range 1, Arcane 2. The Arcane 2 is relatively irrelevant, apart from Magical Brew. Ancestral Sword, +2 damage. Slicing.
And also +1 to piercing, though.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's not just limited to one type. Ancestral Shield is good.
No, it's plus slicing. The plus
slicing 2. Is +2.
Does piercing damage increase?
Piercing
is +1.
That's it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ancestral Shield
is very good. -1 to all damage.
All damage. Yes, that includes magical damage, which is nice.
Lucky we never really used that much. Tom says it's really
I'm
good.
Probably just because I haven't used him every time I've used gnomes, and when I have used him, I've needed him to do other stuff. I haven't really thought enough about Lucky.
Yeah, well, I think the things we forget is when you've cast an arcane ability, you're supposed to shuffle them immediately. So that the deck is then immediately ready. So if he's then going, if you know that you've got someone going next, because for say he's towards the end of the activation and they lost a person and you're there got the next activation, and you want a green, say for Quarrel, and he picks up 5 cards, and you've picked up the green 3, you're like, well, I'll stick it on top then.
Yeah.
And now Quarrel's going to get the green 3, even if he's only drawing 1 card.
Yeah, it's got a lot of potential. It's just, I think, I've always wanted him to go off and kill someone.
Yeah.
And not spend the energy on that. But it's definitely got potential.
So, and then Magical Brew is quite fun. Cost 1, punch by turn. He can actually, that's a healer. He can heal his own wounds.
He can heal himself.
And give himself energy, but quite fun. And Shield Bash, his signature. Interesting, it's impact. He doesn't get any additional damage from it.
Yeah.
From his ancestral
sword.
But
he can do a decent amount of damage with low guard, depending what.
And then you can move many models directly away as well, so he can get out. If he's low on health, it's useful.
Yeah.
Push someone away. So he's your
all-round good character.
All-round good melee. 8 health. Oh, well, 7 health. 7 health.
Oh, yes, slightly.
7 health, but he -1 damage, basically counts for that
Yeah.
that 8 anyway.
Yeah.
And then a 3 energy at the bottom, same as the rest of them. And he's also got Noble, so he's also really good with Gotchgut.
Yeah.
Stick him next to Gotchgut and he's virtually invincible.
Yeah.
Because the -1 happens first. So Gotchgut suffers the minus one.
Then is -1. Wow.
Yeah, because the ancestral shield effects first. Because Gotchgut suffers the wounds for them. So Gotchgut is -1 as well on certain types of damage, but it's wounds rather than types of damage. So he will always suffer the wounds. So it's -1 from Jack. Let's say Jack would suffer 4 wounds, he'll suffer 3, and Gotchgut will only suffer 3.
Wow.
So that's quite good as well. And actually, there's another giant coming out in book 2. I'm almost certain, who's also got the same ability as Gotchgut, bodyguard one.
Ouch.
So you could have young Jack, fancy hat.
Will he be bodyguard for Noble? So?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She. It's a she.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
It's also a giant. So, yeah, he could be literally invincible. Just get damage onto those giants instead.
I mean, we mentioned magical briefly, but it's worth pointing out that this is one of the very few ways that gnomes can get a decent amount of energy.
Yeah.
If he costs 1, but he could potentially gain 3, so gain 2.
Yeah, it's only Arcane 2, so it's a bit of a risk, but it's kind of...
it's good.
Unless you're already in combat and you know that you want to just hit them with the energy you've got, it's pretty standard to try out a magical brew, isn't it?
Because mostly especially if you can want to heal him as well. But if you can get within Mummy Gimbals or you've got Arcane 3, you probably will get a 1, a red 1.
Yeah, so most of the time you're not losing anything by doing it.
Yeah.
Right, next one. Billy. I don't know Billy as well, because he's not one you've used as much. He's another melee person, so you're an alternative melee to Jack. Not necessarily alternative, additional or alternative.
Yeah.
Additional slicing damage. He's melee 4, arcane 4. He's -1, which is interesting. I think it's because he's moving around so much.
Yeah, he's the only gnome with
-1.
evade -1.
Quilted armor again, so loses that same as Graddock, -1 to slicing.
Yeah. Ramming speed.
He's the only one actually, interestingly as well, that hasn't got all his energy at the bottom.
Yeah.
He's one is on the 4th one.
Yeah, he's just still have to lose 4 health before he loses any, but it's, he does have the bottom.
And ramming speed, move this model 6 inches directly toward target enemy model. If it comes in contact with the target, flip an arcane card and the target stuff with X+1 to impact damage. It's moved X inches away. X flipped card. That's quite good.
I think it's really good. It costs 3. It costs all his energy potentially.
But it's a way of doing damage and getting in melee without them doing anything.
It does damage and potentially up to 4 damage with no risk to him. He's not having to attack them.
Well, apart from if you could draw the catastrophe.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. No risk in melee. Yeah, I suppose.
If you draw a catastrophe, it just doesn't do damage and may move 3 inches.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Sorry, he doesn't suffer.
He doesn't have any wounds from it.
Yeah,
he just what happens if you draw a catastrophe? He's then just stuck with no energy.
Yeah. But I like it because it's a reliable.
Well, it's also a way of getting a gnome all the way up there if you need to.
Yeah, move this model 6 inches.
Yeah, so you can jog and then do that.
Yeah.
So you can go 10 inches.
Yeah.
But then the issue with doing that is he then gets isolated, which we've seen before when you've used him. He's then been stuck up by himself.
Yeah, because
and then got murdered by someone.
Kind of wanted. He looks and feels like he wants to charge off and try and. Which I've tried to use him before because he can potentially move quite far with High Ho Silver, his arcane ability.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost want to go off and grab moonstones that the other gnomes can't get.
Yes.
And you're not really using him for his melee abilities.
No, but he can be. But with his ability, let's say you can go and get a moonstone turn 1. By turn 3, he can be back in there.
Yeah.
Because he's got all this movement stuff with High Ho Silver, and if he then gets in ramming speed, he can get back into the fray in the middle.
As a moonstone carrier as well, he's probably quite good because he has these other movement.
Yes, so he's not slowed down quite as much because he can do those as well. I like the model.
Oh, awesome model!
Great model.
Yeah. Great expression on his face. He just looks furious.
Yeah.
Well, furious and sort of just mad.
Charging
forward on his go.
Yeah.
Wild Swing is his upgrade. Each critical hit you play deals an additional +1 damage on.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. If you manage to get off against a rising attack, they're a bit screwed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just 3 damage. If you've got a critical hit on there, that's 7 damage.
So
and it's slicing, it's another +1, so 8 damage.
So he could do 3, 6, 9,
10, 11.
10, 11, 12.
Do 12
12
damage.
damage, yeah.
If someone facing him was stupid enough to play a rising attack.
Yeah.
Or, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool,
But, yeah, I like him. I just haven't used him that much. A couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think one thing is we haven't often played 6. We often play 5 rather than 6.
yeah.
So he then missed out. He was the one that got
He's
dropped.
the one, yeah, there's a lot of other picks before him, I think.
Yeah. Right, that was the first 6 gnomes that are already out. The next ones are the ones that are coming in book 2. So first one is Joanna, who's awesome. With a 2-inch melee range as well. I think we'll go over these ones a bit quicker because people won't know them as well.
Yeah.
So Joanna's got melee 5, so she's brutal in melee, 2-inch range as well, which is pretty good.
She's, I think,
additional
the
slicing
only
damage.
gnome with 2-inch melee.
I think she is, yeah.
She's awesome.
Additional slicing damage. She reduces all damage for friendly characters, friendly gnomes or animals, which is really good. So she works well in Lesser Vault lists as well.
So she can have up to -3 damage.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Similar to Jack Pixie Elf Elixir, where she can gain X plus 1 energy, but it costs 2. So again, she's likely to get it back again.
Jack only gains 1, so there's a slight difference. So
Yeah, but it only costs 1. So
Yeah,
so it's
exactly,
basically the same, really. But
Yeah.
and then so she's good in melee, good solid all round melee, or 2-inch melee, and her Valkyrie Cyclone, her signature move, does damage to others as well. So if she's in there with other people around her, she can help injure other people as well, which is always good. And she's almost unkillable, and she's a noble. So if you put her near some other animals with Gottka, not only does he not suffer that much damage, she's absolutely unkillable. Basically, just avoid her.
Scary, yeah.
You would avoid her. But the one I really like is Revenge of the Forest Friend. Is quite a fun one.
It is fun.
Difficult if you. It's certain easy to counteract by not being near any forests.
Until we get to one of the other characters in a bit.
Until we get to one of the other characters, yeah. Although we'll say it now, unless you're playing with Loki, who can put down a forest for you, which is very useful. He works very well with her. And funny enough, not surprisingly, they come in the same troop box, so you often would use them together.
But it's not modified by cover, which is nice. And it's an 18-inch range.
So yeah, anyone
That's
basically.
it's the longest range ability
it's
in the
only
game.
it's only a 3x3 board, and she can move 4 to start with. So
That might be the longest range ability.
22-inch threat range on it. So you can never get out of her range, unless she can't see you.
Yeah, so it is only X, so you don't get any pluses to it. But I mean,
It's just the range. The fact that you can guarantee do damage, and against that thing of turn 1, where she probably isn't going to be doing anything else, you want to save it till last and hit anyone you like. Their healer, anything.
Yeah.
It is affected by evade though, so again, not so good against
fairies.
Not so good against fairies because you're only going to be drawing 1 card, if maybe 2 if you're near Mama Gimbal, but probably only 1. Or if she's had brothers in arms as well.
She can't have it because it has to be militia.
Oh, it's militia, isn't it? Yeah, she's not militia. Yeah, it's gnome.
Yeah.
Yes, I was thinking it was gnome, but yeah, militia. Yeah. So at the most, she's going to be drawing 2 cards against fairies if she's near Mama Gimbal. But she also gets protection as well. So catastrophe.
Catastrophe.
The target gains protection.
Yeah, so you don't want a catastrophe.
Don't want a catastrophe, really.
But at least she doesn't suffer any wounds.
But then, if you're doing it near the end of the turn, it's really irrelevant, isn't it?
True.
So if she's doing it second to last or last activation, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a fun one, and the model looks amazing as well.
Yeah, great model.
Yeah. And we'll get through these ones a bit quicker. Muradai, interestingly, he's both Commonwealth and Dominion, so he can play with.
Yeah.
He is less of a gnome one, I think. He's more of a rogue build.
I was thinking that as well.
He's more of a rogue build. So we'll go through him quite quickly. But melee 4, range 1, arcane 0, evade 0. Dagger, additional damage to piercing. -1 magical slicing with his flea infested pelt. Great looking model, I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Sort of known with this sort of big, huge rat skin over him. So then he's got friendly rogues gain +1 arcane. So
there's no other gnome rogue, I think, is there? So.
Loki. Loki's another one, but he's really good with because most of the rogues at the moment are fairies.
Yeah.
You've got Natty the Slum Thief as well, but I don't know what her abilities are. I can't remember, but he is good with other fairies. Basically, because they've got a lot of abilities where cover and things are affected in evade. So if he's given them +1 arcane, although most fairies have quite a high evade, but put him near Foxglove and Belladonna are both low arcane with very horrible abilities.
Yeah.
Like drop a Nightshade which I won't go into now, but is a really horrible ability where you can do lots of damage or make people hit each other or die immediately as well. He can give. So she's only Arcane 2, so she can be Arcane 3, which makes it much more reliable. So he's useful for that. So the abilities, he can gain +2, -2 evade, so you can make him quite hard to hit, which is quite good. So if he's a Moonstone carrier, for example, he's a good Moonstone carrier because you can get that off, and then he's very hard to hit. You can move enemy models around a little bit with squeaking, which I don't think is
Move target enemy 1 inch. Yeah.
But robberies come quite good late. He's a good late turn activator. He might literally just be sneaking around the board, not doing much late on in the game.
Well, he can win you the game with robbery.
He can get in to within 1 inch and nick someone's moonstone off them.
So unlike Butterfingers, which fairies have, and I think someone else has it.
Kavanagh has it.
Kavanagh has it
in Les Chevaux.
No, I didn't remember that. Unlike that, he
just does it.
He just does it.
Yeah,
which is really strong.
Kaufman's got another ability where you can nick your moonstone off you, but he has to cast it.
Yeah,
it's an arcane ability, so he can just take your
just
moonstone.
Taking someone's moonstone. They have to have less wounds than him, but just if they do,
he's got 8 wounds. So if he's not been, and again, if he's done squeaking and stuff, he can not squeaking, sneaking. He can be quite hard to hit, and you just sneak him around the side of the board, sticking to terrain, where he's been -1, -2, -3 to hit with other abilities. You keep him away from other people.
Yeah.
And suddenly he can be quite brutal late game. Signature move, not well. So 1 or more wounds, they gain slow and cannot take step action or reaction steps. So you can. It's again really good against someone that's carrying a moonstone.
Yeah,
they're already slow possibly, but then if they can't step, so good against fairies, for example, who often rely on their steps to get out of things. If they can't step anymore, suddenly they're stuck.
Yeah, fairy that can only move 2 inches is
horrible.
Dead fairy.
It's a dead fairy, yeah, exactly. So quite good for that. Again, that late game thing, like turn 3, you've hit someone with that, and they've got a moonstone or 2, and suddenly they're trying to step away, and they can't. The rest of the rogues or the rest of the fairies whoever wants to can come in and get that moonstone. So I think it could be useful. I think he's a hard one to use. I think he's a hard character to use because he hasn't immediately got, oh look, that's amazing. He's there's little bits here and there that I think can make him useful.
He has. I'm just checking the other gnomes. Is he the only gnome with no arcane abilities? I think he might be.
Yeah.
He has no arcane abilities. So that's something in itself. It's that he's never going to be relying on the draw of the card.
He's not. He can reliably do the things he wants to whenever he wants to do them.
That is something to be said for him, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Next one. Actually, we'll do that one last. Sorry, I've got cards in front of us because I want this one next because it's low key.
Yep.
And I want to do this next because he's with the. So Loki's next one. He's also in the troop box with Joanna and
Eurydice.
That's why I wanted to do him next. Melee 4, range 1, arcane 3, range 0. He's quite brutal in combat actually because he gets +2 for impact.
Yeah.
And he's melee 4, so he's reliably getting it. I like him. I think he's quite a fun one actually.
Yeah, I do.
Favour of the Old Gods is fun. So whenever he suffers damage, the first time he suffers damage in a turn, you can flip an arcane card, and he reduces the damage by that much. If he draws a catastrophe, he just means that it's 0 instead. So it's always possibly going to do something. Trickster, we'll get to Trickster in the back in a minute. A Verdant Growth is a good one for him. He can place a wooded patch within 6 inches.
That's good for not just for helping Joanna out, but it can block people's movement.
But with movement and stuff, yeah. Again, not so good against fairies again because they can ignore wooded patches. But against anyone else, it is very good. So yeah, definitely slow people down. They have to traverse through it and things like that. You used it really well actually in the last game we played. Again, like I said, you used these gnomes. Yeah. And I had Les Chevaux, and you stuck it somewhere, which meant I basically couldn't get to a moonstone I wanted to get to. So
yeah,
really good for getting in the way. Yeah. He's quite an awkward one, this guy. And then
one with the wind. It's good to have another movement thing, and it doesn't just affect him. So we can move target model X +1 inches.
So that's friendly and enemy.
Oh yeah.
So you can move someone if someone's running away with a moonstone.
Yeah.
Move them back again.
Someone's coming over to hit
move
you.
Them back,
away.
Move them back next to Joanna, who's surrounded by Gut and a load of bunnies, and suddenly it's terrifying. So yeah, no, I think he's very useful. I think you can see him being used quite well.
Strong Arm is upgrade for Falling Swing. Damage from his attack cannot be reduced with passive ability.
And it's quite horrific.
He's like a bit like
it's impact and +2. So if he gets you'd play one of the higher ones.
Well, Sweeping Cut and Rising Head does 3 damage +2, so that's 5, which can't be reduced with passive abilities.
Yeah.
So that's killing a vicious midget in 1.
Yeah. So that's pretty brutal. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be a good one. And his rogue, although he's a Commonwealth rogue, so he won't fit in a complete rogue build because most of the other rogues are Dominion. But he does work well. It works well with Joanna, really.
Yeah.
You want him with Joanna.
I really like Loki. I think that was the first time I used him last time, possibly.
No, we have used him before, but he didn't really get as much done.
Yeah. But I think he's got a lot of different abilities that he can get a lot from.
Yeah. No, I think he's useful.
Yeah.
And the last one, which is a fun one, because this one will be by itself in a box, is Gnomish Airship.
Very unique model, this one.
Very unique,
at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. There will be a Goblin Airship as well.
Yeah.
So no melee, because it can't get into melee. So it has no melee range either. Arcane 3 and Evade +1. So one thing about this was quite fun is it can't go into melee and it can't be hit by melee either. It's immune to any kind of melee.
Yeah.
So if you're playing against a troop of mainly melee and not a lot of arcane or range abilities, it's basically invincible. It can only be hit by range attacks. So
trade-off for that is that obviously you can't gather moonstones.
Nope. Which also is not necessarily a bad thing because it means okay, well he can't carry moonstones, so I won't bother.
You never even have to think about.
No, I think about it with him. I'm just going to think about hurting you.
Yeah,
that's what he does instead.
Yeah,
so he fires. Got a bolt thrower, which is exactly the same as no, not the same as Quarrel. It's not quite as good. X +2. Yeah. Although he says it's not as good. If he draws a 1, it's actually better.
Yeah, true. Because always
do 3.
2, yeah.
Always +2, so it's actually almost as good. It's only if you manage to get a 3 that Quarrels is better.
And it moves models away, which is a nice sort of thing just to keep people at bay a bit.
Yep, so basically some normal bolt throw one. And then if he does manage to get close, dropping bombs is always quite a fun one. So all models within the pulse, excluding this model, suffer X +1 magical damage and then move X directly away. So if he has got surrounded, which is actually irrelevant for him because he can't be in melee, but you could get in, you could move him right into a group of people and drop some bombs on them, which is quite fun. 8 health, 3 energy at the bottom, same as other gnomes. Obviously no signature move because
can't be in melee.
Can't be in melee.
It's another one that can potentially shoot twice with
Ram Gimbal, because you could fire once, reload and fire again.
Yeah.
In fact, that was the horrible thing you managed to do in that game. Where you managed to hit both the Gnomish Airship and Quarrel, so both of them were able to fire twice.
And they were going up against a troop without a lot of evade, I think.
Yeah, and I hadn't placed them that well, so I think you killed someone in turn 1
and crippled someone else.
Someone else, so they came back with almost no energy, so it was really good.
Yeah.
So those are all the gnomes. Obviously the last 4 aren't released yet, so a few people have got Joanna from playing in tournaments, and Tom gave them as a prize, but mainly not yet. But I think gnomes look good. I think they're fun. They haven't done very well in the tournaments that we've done.
No,
but I think again, they're not necessarily immediately easy to use. A bit like fairies, humans are point and click, relatively straightforward to use. Good health, you can kind of run them up there and hurt stuff, and basically they're probably going to be fine for most games. Goblins as well, I think you can also do that, and they've got a lot of 3-inch melees and stuff to get around it. Fairies, I think, are the hardest to use, but I think gnomes are probably the second hardest if you're doing it as a pure gnome list. I think, like I said, looking forwards and looking ahead to the future, I think that's going to be a thing of the past. But
I think as well in the tournaments that we've done so far, because there weren't 6-troop tournaments, were they? So I think we used less moonstones.
We did only use less moonstones. I think they're better in 7 moonstone drop.
I think it's difficult for gnomes if there's less moonstones, because if the dice at the start go against them and they're on a side of the board where there's less moonstones, the enemy can try and get more moonstones and then just not engage them. And because they've got a couple of slow models and they rely a lot on their synergies and auras, it's kind of very difficult for them to...
They also struggle generally, I think, with a lower model count.
Yeah.
If you're doing 3v3, it's not as good. If they're doing 6v6, then they can really build up the synergies to work really well. Whereas 3v3, when you've got to take my gimbal, okay, I've got to take Granite, great. Now I've got to take, I guess, Young Jack, and then I've not got as much range, and I've not got as that.
Definitely, yeah.
And it really struggles then. So
I think they come into their own, with
5 or 6.
5 or 6, and with more moonstones.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we'll stop there, because that's gone on to 55 minutes now, almost.
Yeah.
So, which is good. I think that was a nice comprehensive study of the gnomes. I think that was good.
Sure, there's a lot of things we missed, and synergies and things that may pick up at a later time as we use them more. And
we've talked mainly about their synergies with other gnomes, but there's more.
Yeah.
because I think you can put Quack in the list as well. I think Quack, his ability to boost Arcane, I don't think is friendly human. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I haven't got that card in front of me. But if it is friendly models, then he's good in the gnome list. Boosting Quarrel's Arcane by +2, and then he's next to Amalgam with Arcane of 6.
Arcane 6 Quarrel.
Obviously, you've got to build it up, so you've got to do it first, and then you can try and get behind cover and things. But and if it's not, then this whole point I just made is irrelevant. But anyway, okay, I think we'll leave it there anyway. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get something out of it, known players. The only thing I'll add as well, actually, I guess, is that all the models are amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As every Moonstone model is amazing.
Yeah.
They're all fantastic.
Favourite gnome model? So far? It's got, for me, probably Morris or Billy.
For me, it's Morris or Graddock.
Yeah,
in the current available 6.
Yeah.
Morris or probably Graddock. I like the image of him. In the newer set of models, probably either Joanna or the airship.
Oh, the airship.
Well, I haven't seen the airship model, but I have seen the Joanna model.
Yeah.
I think it will be the airship because I think it's going to just look awesome, floating
how
over.
big it's going to be.
It's not going to be absolutely massive.
Base,
it's on a 40mm base.
40mm base, yeah.
Although the base is literally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Except for where you can place it. I suppose you can't place it on terrain still. But I don't know. We'll see how big. I don't know how big it is because I haven't seen it in comparison to anything else. But yeah, okay, cool. Next episode, don't know what it's going to be about yet. We might record another one a bit later if we have time. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you next time.
See ya.